Like this microphone.
Yeah. UFC bantamweight Patchy Mixed, right? I mean, how does that sound to you now that it's all official and it's all done? I mean, how does that sound to you right now?
It sounds good, man. You know, it sounds just where I belong. I feel, you know, so many years, so many fights, as a matter of fact. So to finally be here, it's surreal, but it's where I belong.
Yeah. You've been in this building numerous times, but tonight, did it feel a little bit different attending the fights, knowing that you were signed to the UFC?
Yeah, it felt a little different. Tatiana's actually, big shout out to her. She's getting an award in California. She's getting inducted to the California Wrestling Hall of Fame right now, so she couldn't be here. So it was a little different. I got to bring my mom, and it was a little more, it was a little bit better. I mean, I guess tonight, because I got signed and my mom got to come see it. And, you know, if Tati was here, I guess that's the one thing that's missing.
Nice. Well, I mean, this whole process, right? Patient? Were you able to be along the way, or did you start to get a little worried that it was never going to happen? I mean, what was this whole process like for you?
I had to have patience, but a lot of frustration. Just not knowing, you know, obviously I was going to fight Leandro Higo last year. You know, everyone knew what I'd do to Leandro Higo. I just wanted to, you know, earn some money and stuff and stay active and still keep getting better, you know, keep growing. So when that fight got pulled, I didn't know when I'd fight. I went to Dubai. I did a grappling match, you know, against the one champion at my weight. And, you know, I just kind of tried to stay busy and just try to fall in love with practice, you know. Since I didn't know when I was fighting, I just wanted to keep getting better and evolving. So people haven't seen it yet, but I'm not the same fighter as I was last May, I'll tell you that.
Incredible. And wasting no time getting busy with a fight, right? Was that your idea? Did you want to fight as quickly as possible, or did they need you to fight as quickly as possible? How did that come together?
You got the call and you answer it, you know. I'm not afraid of anyone in this division, especially Mario Bautista. So he's on a 7-fight win streak, and I want that 7-fight win streak. So when they called me, I answered it, and I'll make weight, and I'll get the job done. So, you know, it didn't matter who. I didn't mind if he was ranked number 1 or number 50. I would have went against the best, the hardest, the guy that they didn't want, you know, anyone to fight. It didn't matter. So it happened to be him, and I think Chito Vera popped his rib or something. They called me within like an hour or two. I was like, hell yeah. Within like a day, I think it was getting made. So, you know.
We're certainly looking forward to the debut. I mean, last thing for me, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but you know the conversation people are already having. How quickly can this guy be UFC champion, right? I mean, how quickly can this guy be at the top of the division? So how are you looking at that? I mean, are you putting a timeline on things, or like how you see your career progressing, how soon till you're at the top, or are you patient in this rise?
I'm already a multi-time world champion. I'm 20-1 with 16 finishes. I got more finishes and a better record than every single guy ranked right now. You know, I'm already a multi-time world champion. That's beaten the who's who, very good names in MMA. So I plan to win this fight, and I expect to be at the top of the division. Whether it's a title fight next, I don't know, but I don't mind what it is, you know, as long as it's a step up, you know. I plan to be successful against Mario Bautista, and then move forward, you know. Hopefully the top 5, top 3. You know, I don't fear any man, so any of them are fine.
Patchy, you know, you've been saying that you're the best belt bantamweight in the world for many years now. And of course, you got hit with comments like, oh, you're fighting the B leagues. Oh, why don't you come over here and test it? How does it feel to like shut everybody up and be like, I'm finally here and you're about to see it?
Well, it's like, what now, you know? And they'll all be able to see what I can do in 3 weeks, you know? Everyone that's been in the gym, I'm feared, you know. They know it as well as I know it, because I've trained with so many people. I've made so many people say uncle and tap, your favorite fighter's fighter, you know. So it's like, you know, for them to say that I wasn't elite and stuff, it almost was comical to me because of like how much work I was doing and how many people I submit on a daily basis. But now that I'm here, I get a chance to prove it, and in 3 weeks, you know, I plan to, you know, run him over, man. I plan to put him away, and, you know, I know guys have finished him before, but I plan to put him away and, you know, prove that I'm different than everyone else in this division, and I'm different than, you know, these other top-ranked guys.
And it seems like it's just a perfect position because you're fighting on the card with the bantamweight title on the line. Is it just make perfect sense?
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense. Me and Merab have trained for years together, and I respect him. I really do hope Merab wins against O'Malley. I'd like down the line, us to make some money together. And just duke it out for that title as I get closer to it. But I think it makes perfect sense being that it's the title fight. But I also think it makes perfect sense. I'm a New York guy, man. Everyone forgets I made my Bellator debut when I was an underdog against Ricky Bandejas, like a 3-1 underdog, and I choked him out in a minute flat. Now I get to go into New Jersey, 6 hours from my hometown, and make my UFC debut after years of clawing at the bit to get here. And, I have money, I have belts, I have all this stuff, but I don't have notoriety. And that's what I'm coming for on June 7th. I'm coming to show the world who I am.
And I guess that's kind of like the question everybody wants to know is obviously you've trained with Merab several times, rolled with him, cornered him. If that fight gets made, is it kind of just it's business?
Yeah, just business. When like a couple months ago, we had been in the gym and I seen him and I told him, I don't know what's going to happen with my PFL deal, and I want to be a man to you, and I want to come to you and tell you, I may come over there. And me being a 3-time world champion, demolishing everybody that I fought in over the last few years, I knew I would get a push towards the top of the division. Now, barring, I didn't know Chito would go out and I'd have to fight number 10. I honestly thought I'd have to fight maybe someone up in the upper echelon of 5 or better. But, I take what I'm not picky about it. I take what I'm offered, and, I believe in hard work and making, I believe in having to earn my way too here. So I didn't mind taking it. But what I'm saying is that, I told him as a man that I could potentially be coming over here, and that if we did fight, I would hope it would be for the title down the line, and it's just business. His dreams are the same dreams as I have, and my mom that, a single mom that raised me and my brothers and sisters back there, she raised me to work my ass off, and she raised me since I was a kid. So, I'm not doing this just for myself. I'm doing this for my family, and that title, it comes with setting your family up for life. So, it doesn't matter who's in the way. It doesn't matter who.
Final one for me. Your buddy Aaron Pico is over here too. Were you stoked to see him come over here?
Yeah, he messaged me like right when I got put on the screen there, just right in the Gilbert fight right now. He messaged me and we've been talking. I'm super excited for him, and I'm super excited when he comes out to Vegas so we can like chop it up and cross train again. We trained for years together. Like I said, we fought on MSG years ago together. So it'll be cool to see him over here, and I believe he's one of the sleepers, man. People don't know Pico's a problem.
While that Bellator audience is big, the UFC audience is worldwide. There's going to be some fans that are finally seeing you for the first time, So if you had to describe your fight style, and what do you think the biggest thing that they're going to see when they first watch you fight that they maybe had no idea of?
I'm just a finisher, I got 15 finishes at bantamweight. I'm a submission artist. I got 13 subs, and I get submissions from everywhere. So I don't know, besides like Charles Oliveira, who can like get rear naked chokes, knee bars, salute stretches, arm bars, like all these sorts of different submissions. I have a wide array of them. So I look forward to showing that off, and showing like a different level of jiu-jitsu, like the new breed of fighting in 2025. I feel like the grappling is different, and I feel like I'm among the top of them,
Would you say your jiu-jitsu in the bantamweight division is the best?
Yeah, 100%, without a doubt.
Now, looking at you mentioned your mom being here. I don't know if your mom was there when you signed with Bellator, but what did it mean to her to see you achieve this dream of yours and to be here when this happened?
Like I said, my mom was there when I won in Madison Square Garden. I won in a minute. I remember running outside and hugging my family outside of MSG after I just won in front of like 20,000 people. She was also there when I knocked out Rufian Stotts in another 1 minute to win $1 million, So she was there in Hawaii for that, my first world title, my first $1 million check. She was there when I made my debut in MSG, and she'll be there hopefully, in 3 weeks in June. So it just all comes full circle, and I'm extremely grateful and proud to, represent my family and, where I'm from.
And last for me, a lot of times when fighters have their partners fighting in the UFC as well, they don't like to fight on the same card. Would you like to fight on the card with Tatiana, or is that the kind of thing where, you guys wouldn't want to do that to each other and focus on one particular fight in a night? Or would you rather fight on the card with her?
I mean, we've talked about it. I'm not opposed to anything, I mean, I feel like if we fought on the same card, we just make a ton of money together. So it'd be cool, but it'd also be cool just to focus and help her as she does with me. I think it might be, because I love Tatiana, and I don't know how I feel about fighting. You got to keep your emotions in check, and I'm pretty cold and I'm pretty ruthless when it comes to fighting. I try to put people completely unconscious. So I don't know about that. It'd be a little weird, I guess.
Pat, you over here to your left. Congrats on the move, first off. But obviously on paper, it's a short notice fight. But would you view it that way, or would you view it more of like a months and months of preparation, given how long you've been kind of vocal of, asking for fights, and now it's finally here?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a short notice. It's probably like a year-long camp, honestly. It's probably the longest training camp I've had of my life. So definitely not short notice for me. Maybe like making the weight, but luckily I've been pretty much eating clean, and I've been staying on top of this just in case something did happen. The more months that went on that I kind of sat out, when I got to like 10, 11 months, I figured something was, it has to come soon. So I had a feeling that something would, kind of stick, and it did. So, I'm very prepared for this fight.
Obviously, there's a whole new crowd that comes with, fighting under the UFC banner. But do you think the way someone like Mario Bautista has been painted by the MMA community after the Jose Aldo fight, do you see that as like maybe an even bigger opportunity for you to even make more fans, just given how some people view him?
Yeah, I don't know why, man. The fans are ruthless to this poor guy, I tell you. I think it's because he won a split decision against Aldo. Maybe Aldo should have got off the fence. I don't know, but I don't know. But I tell you, I'm gonna get justice for Aldo. You know what I mean? I'll tell you that. I'm gonna get justice for him because we're gonna be banging it out. We're gonna be fighting. We're gonna be engaging. He ain't holding me up against the fence.
And you mentioned there that the fans can expect a different version than the one that was fighting last May against Magomedov. So what do you think? What's different with this version of Patchy Mix compared to the one that fought in Paris last year?
The one that fought in Paris last year, I think I'm fully healthy right now. I feel like the first time I fought Magomedov was the first, that was the true example of like me, because I was totally healthy in that fight as well. I think you're going to get a version of Patchy Mix like when I choked Maga unconscious or when I knocked Stotts completely dead. I think you're going to get a version of that, and, it's going to be a ruthless version. And I believe, I believe, Trevin Jones was able to put his lights out, and I believe I could put his lights out, and I believe I could put his lights out whether it's on the feet or on the ground. So, I'm coming to do that.
And I know you've touched on this before, and obviously no fighter wants to lose their fight. But how beneficial do you think was like the loss to Juan Archuleta, given maybe the lessons you learned that night and just how far you've come since then?
Yeah, bro. I mean, if you really look at the career, man, 11-0 as an amateur, 20-1 as a pro. 31 out of 32, and my only loss was in COVID in front of nobody. So, just a silent arena in front of nobody, and had to get a very hard learning lesson, after being up 2 rounds and then losing my last 3, just kind of getting tired. So what I focus on is always being in shape and always being able to, push for these rounds that to be able to be in the best cardio shape I can so that I don't end up like Jose Aldo where he gets pushed up against the fence the whole fight.
Last one for me. I feel like we see you at a lot of these UFC events, and they show you on the camera, but it's mainly because they're focusing on Tatiana. So how cool is it going to be now that they can actually label you on the cameras? And
Like I tell you, man, my shoulder always made the cut. This part, so I always was thinking about leaning in and doing something, but I didn't want to cause no problems. But now to finally be here, it's surreal. And like I said, man, I'm here to take over, man. It won't take long. It will take me not long, but I am here to take over.
Patrick right here. Were there any other names offered to you besides Mario, or was it just like, hey, short notice, come get it in a couple weeks?
Well, like I said, man, within 24 hours of me being released, I think Chito just popped his rib. I got the call, and Mario was the call, I mean, I think because Jersey was the closest card, the next card being it, I don't even think there was if there was bantamweights on this card and they pulled off, I would have said yes to that too. So, what I mean? It didn't matter when. I would have fought tomorrow, you know what I mean?
There you go. And a lot of guys coming over from other promotions, obviously, you following, MVP, Patricio Pitbull and all that. You finally get to show, you guys all as a whole get to show what you really could do, right? With now against like the best in the world. In terms of making the jump from, Bellator to UFC, like what are you expecting when it comes to competition?
Well, I don't expect, man. I feel like these other guys have a little bit of they're different than me, If you look at my last 6 opponents, they have a combined record of 125 and like 15. I have a harder my last 6 opponents, that's harder records than every single guy ranked at bantamweight now. So it's not up in competition. The only thing it is just up in promoting me in media. You know what I mean? These guys all have names, and I will put all those names in my wallet in a couple months. They'll all be mine.
And final one for me. How frustrating has this year plus been out of action? To the point where you pretty much were pushed to going on social media and saying like, "Hey, hello, I'm right here. I'm champ. When do we get a fight?" What's these last year plus been like for you?
It's been frustrating, man. To be honest with you, I'm not even gonna lie. A lot of I don't know, man. I've been bitching a lot at home, probably, to be honest with you. I'm just probably driving my family crazy, just bitching about it all the time. I want to fight, I want to fight. No, all it really was is I just wanted to stay active in fighting. And, that was probably the hardest part. But it wasn't like, I don't really put the necessary blame on one particular person. I know cards fell out, and I know that it wasn't just me not fighting, is what I'm saying. It was a majority of people. It's not like I was singled out. So I didn't feel like, what's the word? Like, I didn't feel like they, singled me out and feel like some revenge or something against them. I knew that it was a lot of people having to deal with the similar problem. And I just was praying that, not just myself, but everyone could stay active and just make, some money for their families. That's it.
I know the feeling, believe me. Luckily, we're past that now, but it's terrible. He's just got his gloves on, dog.
Myron, thanks for waiting for that. Congrats on the victory. How happy are you with your performance out there?
Super happy. I still have more to show, but today was a good day, so I'm very happy with my performance.
What were you hoping to show that you didn't get to show out there? You showed a lot of heart out there.
I wanted to knock him out, but I think the decision was a good way to shut down the last decision. So I think the way that it was perfect.
So you're saying the unanimous, that erased the memory of the split decision, the one prior, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's it.
What was the game plan coming out tonight?
Don't get stuck against the fence. Don't be a stationary target. Hit him, move out of the way, a lot of angles, and work on his mistake. And I think that's exactly what I did, and everything worked out perfect for me.
when you say work on his mistakes, what were you expecting him to do, and what did he actually show out there?
Like he's a guy that he's gonna throw if you like stand and bang with him. So my plan was just like to draw his big punches and to land clean. And yeah, that's it. Be cleaner, just like I am. And I know that I did that.
How did that power feel? Because I think everybody watching this fight was saying that there's two power punchers going at it. Did he hit as hard as you thought he would?
No, because I don't remember being hit in the head clean. Like my guard was up, so he hit hard in my arms, but I think it was normal. I was expecting more, in the clinch. I thought, oh, if this guy like holds my head in a tight clinch, it's gonna be hard to get out. But no, it was pretty easy. I was in the fence, like with my back against the fence just to rest. And when I wanted to turn, I did. And I wanted to hold him, I did too. So he wasn't strong like I thought he was gonna be. And yeah, he was good. I'm surprised that he wasn't super strong like everybody was saying and like I thought he was gonna be.
Yeah. So, well, coming in, I think that was a lot of what we thought as well, but you looked pretty big up against him as well. Did you think that he was going to be bigger when you came in and actually fought him on fight night?
I didn't think about, he's going to be bigger. I was thinking about like his power, like, if this guy's hit,
yeah,
it's dangerous. Like I got dropped in my last fight, so I was like, okay, I can't be hit because I can't be dropped again. But no, it was normal. I train with guys that they hit harder, so it was normal.
And in terms of experience, he had to be one of the more well-experienced guys that you fought. Would you say that this was the biggest victory of your career to date?
Yeah, 100%. I know I have a lot of fights, but in the UFC, it's different. He has a lot of fights in the UFC, so he's more experienced than I am. And being able like to show a good performance like this, like because from what I remember, I fought like a veteran, on his mistakes, things like that. So biggest name and that I fought and biggest performance of my career too.
So what's next? Do you sort of enjoy this win for a little bit, or are you back in the gym on Monday or Tuesday preparing for your next one?
I'm gonna heal like the small injuries that I have, all the soreness and things like that. And I'm always training, but my focus right now is to rest. I need to rest my body and my mind. I want to enjoy my son. And in the end of the year, like maybe Brazil, I heard that's gonna be a card there. It would be nice to fight in Brazil, my hometown, of course, but let's see. But I want to take some time off. I think since I signed with the UFC, like since my tough finale, I'm very active. So I want to take some time off and end the year with 3 fights.
Any particular name that you want to see opposite of the octagon, or just anybody that's willing to travel down to Brazil? Should you be able to get that fight?
No, man, I don't have any names. So I just want to fight the best. So that's it.
Congrats on the victory.
Thank you.
Obviously, you won your UFC debut, but like, does this win make you feel better? Like just overall?
Yeah. My debut wasn't like I was expecting, and this one, like, was. I can't describe, man, because I'm so happy. Because Sadiq is a big name. He was ranked, and I had some doubts, like in the back of my mind, I was like, can I compete with this guy? He's fought a lot of tough guys. And like, I was like, am I one of these guys to beat him? And yeah, I know I have the answer right now. So I'm happy. I think this performance showed what I'm capable of. And like my last fight wasn't me. So I'm very happy with this performance.
How was the weight cut to lightweight?
So much easier, man. It was so easy. Oh my God. I don't even like to remember my cut to 45. Let's see, but it was good. I was smiling. I was able like to drink, to sip some water during the weight cut, things like that. So it was fun.
So with that, now that you've done it and you fought at lightweight, like, is it going to make your decision to go back down to featherweight a little bit harder?
I think so because I really like it. I felt good. I felt strong. Like when I looked him like on the other side of the cage, I was like, this guy's not bigger than me. Like when I was watching fights and see like that, I was like, oh my God, this guy's so big comparing to the other guys. But no, like I was like, he's normal. I think he's even smaller. So I don't know. Let's see. I have to rest a little bit, and then I will have the answer for this.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Awesome win, fantastic performance. It almost seems like that, kind of like what Alex touched on, that the new weight. You just seem so happy, so pleased and satisfied. And you're honest with yourself that you went against a guy that made you doubt it, but that fear, you turned it into motivation. What was the best takeaway? What made you the most proud tonight that you said, you know what, I did those 15 minutes. I looked good, I was on point, I cut him open with those kicks.
I think the biggest lesson that I have from this fight, like that comes to my mind right now, that I belong like with big names, you know. I always, when I'm in the gym training, I see that like I train with a lot of UFC guys and stuff, and I'm like, I can compete with the best because look at my training partners. But like when I go to fight, I was like, okay, am I just a fighter that fights good in the gym? You know, some questions that I had in my mind for this fight because my last performance. So I was able to answer that in the cage for myself, and I'm just so happy to know that I belong. I can like beat a ranked guy or a guy that I was ranked, a big name. I know that I was the favorite, but a lot of people were counting me out. Like, even friends, they're like, hey, this guy dangerous, you know? And I know what they mean when they say that. So I'm happy to know that, like, the UFC is my home, and I will stay here for a long time.
Thank you, sir. Congrats, and I guess you were more dangerous.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Martin, congratulations. I know, obviously, it didn't go his way, but you and Mateo shared a card. Very special moment for you guys, given how far you guys have come together in life. So how big was this weekend for you guys?
Man, it was good. Very good to share, like, the camp with him because we are always helping each other for fights. But right now, we're going to fight in the same day. Like, the fight didn't go his way, but I'm 100% sure that he's going to come back stronger. He's been through that, like, a fight that everything was going good until it wasn't. And I know, like, he's going to come back stronger. This guy, like, he's special. Today doesn't define who he is. And you guys will see the best of him. And it was very good to share, like, this camp with him and everything. Didn't go his way, but it's still a dream come true. So, yeah, we'll celebrate together soon.
And recently, Dan Argueta, a former opponent of yours, announced his retirement from mixed martial arts. I know that's a guy that you fought early on in your career, and you mentioned too that fight really helped you in a lot of, getting a lot of good takeaways from that. So, what was your reaction like when he announced him hanging up the gloves?
I don't know. Like, I didn't even think further about it because, like, he wasn't living his best moment in the UFC. But if this was his decision and if he's happy with that, I'm happy for him because I don't know if he knows that, but he was a guy that taught me a very good lesson. Like, before that fight, I was always super confident, like very cocky about, I'm going to win this fight easy. Every fight, I would think that. And for this fight, like 135, my weight cut was trash. But actually, I had 5 weeks to train just to cut weight. I would run 2 hours a day and hit the bags with sauna suit every single day. And I thought, I don't need to train, I'm gonna beat him. So he taught me a good lesson. And if he's happy with that, I'm happy for him. And like, I know he's still gonna be like in the sport because I know he loves to train. So I wish him the best of luck on his life.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Go Birds. Go Birds. Calmadito. Despacito. All right. Here we go.
Michael, congratulations on what has to be the biggest career victory for yourself.
Felicidades, sobre todo porque esto es lo que debe ser tu victoria más grande en tu carrera, ¿no?
Así es, muy feliz de que se haya realizado así este combate. Creo que fue pues prácticamente gracias a Dios por cómo salieron las cosas. Muy contento de que mi mamá haya disfrutado de esta pelea, de que mis esquinas estuvieron siempre apoyándome y todas las personas a la distancia estuvieron pues dándome ese aliento desde fuera.
Yeah, happy, very happy with the fight and the way things turned out. Happy that this fight happened and the way it went. Happy for and very grateful for all the people that have supported me. Very happy that my mom was able to watch it here, and for all the people that have supported me throughout, and they've been supporting me for this fight.
Were there any nerves going in there? With him being the most experienced guy that you probably fought, were there any nerves at all coming from your side going in there?
Con él siendo el peleador más experimentado contra quien has peleado, ¿cómo estaban los nervios? ¿Estaban los nervios pesados antes de la pelea?
Sí, sí, como siempre, estaba cagado de nervios, estaba cagadísimo de nervios. Creo que sabíamos, pues por algo no le dicen Duriño, ¿no? Entonces creo que es un peleador que llegó a pelear por título, llegó a pelear contra gente muy dura. Entonces, obviamente, si te metes a la jaula con alguien así, con ese historial, vas a tener mucho miedo. Él es un asesino, una muralla que tenía que atravesar, que tenía que romper. Y pues se dio. Esta noche demostramos que más duro estoy yo. Así que muy contento por esta gran victoria que tuve.
Sure, man. I was shitting my pants. I'll tell you something. It was something. I was very nervous. We're out there, and that's I think anybody that's gonna face a guy. That's what they call him Dorino. They don't call him Dorino for nothing. He's a guy that no matter whoever has to be in a cage with that guy to fight, they would feel the nerves. And for everything that he's done, is a guy who's always fighting for a title, and the people that he has fought throughout his career. I think it was important for me to get that fight to prove to him, and like the tough guy tonight was me.
You definitely look like the bigger, stronger guy out there when you got in there. When you laid hands on him, did you think it was going to be that easy to put him down? You know, because apparently, as soon as you hit him, he looked very, very damaged. Could you tell, and did you have that goal, or did you think that it would be that easy once you laid your hands on him?
Y en definitivo, tuvimos la impresión que sí, fuiste el más grande y el más fuerte. Y el momento en que pegó el primer golpe, o sea, que se notó que él notaba que la reacción de él fue de daño. En este momento, te diste cuenta de que ahí va hacia abajo, o sea, ese momento entró un golpe y ahí después de eso, digo, es mi oportunidad, no va a perder.
Sí, hablamos mucho sobre el tema de cómo él reacciona hacia los golpes. Sabíamos que una vez que él está contra la jaula acorralado, lanza mucho los volados, lanza mucho su derecha volada. Entonces, sabíamos que si nos llegaba a dar ese golpe contra la jaula, si lo dejábamos respirar un momento, él iba a aprovechar eso y iba a golpear, contraatacar. Y no lo dejamos. El trabajo fue ese, no dejarlo contraatacar, usar mucho distancia. Si sabíamos que nos iba a tumbar, pero sabíamos que nos podíamos poner de pie. Entrené muy fuerte con mis esquinas, Martín, Raúl, Andy, Brian, todos ellos me apoyaron en todo este campamento. Estuvo durísimo la verdad. Todos entran, me ayudaron mucho y pues hasta mi mamá estuvo en los entrenamientos y en mi sufrimiento para bajar de peso. Así que simplemente agradecidos con todos ellos y contento de haber golpeado a alguien tan duro como él.
Yeah, we talked about this in camp. It was actually a big focus of our camp, so the reaction that he has when he gets hit. And we know what he does when he's backed up against the fence and you actually have him kind of corralled. What he does is he's gonna go for that overhand, and we know that was coming. So we knew that by pressuring him, that was coming, and I needed to counterattack. So might as well not let that happen. So this was something that we worked a lot with the team Raúl, Martín, Landy, ¿qué más? Y Brian. We worked in camp. And even my mom, I mean, she saw the work they put in, the work that I put in to even to do the weight cut. We knew that we needed to pressure him, and we feel happy about the fact that the work put in worked.
There was a lot of emotion on Gilbert's face after the fight was over. I know you respect Gilbert. Did you have a chance to talk with him, or would you have a message to Gilbert possibly after this fight?
Había mucha emoción en la cara de Gilbert después que terminó la pelea. No sé si tuviste la oportunidad de hablar con él, y si no tuviste la oportunidad, ¿qué mensaje dejaría Gilbert Burns esta noche?
Pues decirle que es un gran padre, sé que va a volver a ser papá otra vez, creo que tiene mucho todavía que demostrar, no se está quedando estancado todavía, da peso, es una persona que tiene todavía todo el poder como para seguir peleándola, así que simplemente decirles que esto es subida, bajada, subida, bajada, subida, bajada, no hay que detenerse ni por nada ni por nadie, le mando todo el aliento que tengo, todo mi agradecimiento también por haberse subido al octágono a pelear. Creo que es un guerrero, creo que ha demostrado todo el poder que tiene y pues simplemente decirle eso, le mando muchas bendiciones y pues espero que su hijo nazca sano y salvo.
I know he's first of all that he's a great father. I know that he's going to become a father again, so that's just great on him, and he's got a lot yet in him. That this is. That has a lot to give, and there are moments that it's not going to be your night, and this is about ups and downs and ebbs and flows, and that's what the game goes. But I think I would send him comfort, all the respect as well, and the gratitude as well for actually giving me this fight, and nothing else but blessings, and that his upcoming newborn son comes in healthy as well. So just all the best for him.
Last for me, with a performance like that, a lot of people will think the UFC is going to fast track you against all the big names out there to try to get you rising towards a bigger shot. So who makes sense for you next, and what are the names that you want to call out that you'd like to be in there in the octagon with?
Y la última de Kenny, con una victoria como esta, mucha gente ya piensa, bueno, el UFC simplemente va a darle vía rápida un atajo hacia arriba. O sea, por eso, por la posibilidad que simplemente ya tener un nombre grande ahí arriba. ¿Algún nombre te viene a la cabeza?
He estado pidiendo mucho a Ian Garry, es con la pelea que he querido, pero sé que ha ganado su última pelea contra Prates y sigue subiendo en el ranking. Y simplemente aprovechar ahora que gané esta pelea rápido, que me siento sano, recuperarme de 2, 3 golpes por ahí y esperar que me den la oportunidad de volver a pelear en Guadalajara si se da, y contra quien sea, no importa. Simplemente quiero entrenar, estar sano, estar bien, recuperarme muy bien de todos los golpes y pues si me toca pelear con, no sé, el 5, el 4, el 6, el que sea, lo voy a hacer. Simplemente aprovecharé la oportunidad que Dios me dé.
I talked about Ian Gary. That's the fighter that I've always wanted to fight. But I know that he's won his last fight, so he's looking up in the rankings right there. So that might not happen. But I said, the fight that I would really like to make, and the biggest thing is just being healthy and just kind of recovering from a couple of strikes that I had. And I took to be in Guadalajara. I think that if they're able to make it, I would like to fight whoever, in Guadalajara. But I think that at this point, taking advantage of opportunities and being grateful for opportunities to fight maybe the 6th, the 5th, the 4th in the ranking. And we'll take any opportunity that God gives us to do.
Congrats on the win. Amazing performance. I don't know what you finished faster, that slice of pizza or your first main event. There's a big fight coming up in June. Do you kind of stay active, stay healthy in case they might call you, in case something happens with that Buckley-Kamaru Usman fight? Does that interest you at all?
No sé lo que terminaste primero, la pelea o la pizza que tenía en la mano. O sea que bien, felicidades por eso, por finalizaciones rápidas. Hay una gran pelea en junio entre Buckley y Usman. O sea, la idea tal vez es mantenerse sano y listo para una posible, para algo así, si surge una oportunidad en la pelea esta.
El que sea, simplemente aprovechar la oportunidad que me den. Yo no soy alguien que habla mucho, yo no vengo a hablar, no vengo a jugar, simplemente a hacer mi trabajo, escuchar a mi esquina, es lo único que hago, escuchar a mis seres queridos, a mi mamá, que siempre está diciéndome las cosas como son, pies sobre la tierra, no hay nada escrito en la jaula, no sabes qué vaya a pasar en una pelea, no sabes vayas a salir bien, vayas a salir mal, simplemente trabajar, es lo único a lo que vine, a trabajar, a hacer mi trabajo, como dije anteriormente, limpio, rápido y elegante, es lo que hago, simplemente hacer el trabajo como es, sin hablar tanto, y pues si se da la oportunidad de pelear con alguien que ya quiere estar listo conmigo, pues lo voy a hacer.
By all means, yeah, be ready for the fight. And if that's it, I mean, we'll take the opportunity. And I've always, I don't like to talk a lot. You know, I like to do things and get things done. My mom always tells me this: stay with your feet on the ground, be humble about it, and be ready for things, and just continue to work. I think the biggest thing is nothing is written in the octagon. Everything can happen in there, so you always have to be ready for the opportunities. And so all I want to do is continue to work, continue to be ready. And as I said, there are three things that I want in my work. And I want it to be clean, I want it to be quick, and I want it to be elegant with style. And I think we're able to do it tonight, and we'll keep on doing it.
That's awesome. I love that. That's perfect. And last for me, Bilal Muhammad, a former champion, had so much praise for you. So who knows if you guys would have met. But now we have a new king in the division. Just your thoughts, please, on Jack and, the overall performance he just had.
En términos de tu relación con Bela, Bela siempre ha hablado muy bien de ti. O sea, por todo lo que hicieron, el contacto que tuvieron ustedes. Pero ahora hay un nuevo rey en la división. ¿Podrías hablar un poco para nosotros qué piensas de Jack de la Madalena?
Sí, es un peleador que pues subió rápido en el ranking, al igual que yo lo estoy haciendo. Es un peleador que pues no se detuvo por nada ni por nadie, ha finalizado a sus rivales, ha llegado hasta lo último, se coronó campeón actualmente ya. Y pues solo decirle que mando muchas felicidades por el cinturón. Belal también es un peleador que no dejó de golpear, no dejó de seguir hacia adelante. Belal es una persona que no se rinde, así que va a buscar otra vez su oportunidad de arrebatar el título. Pero pues nada, ya lo logró muy bien, no, pues simplemente evitó los comentarios, evitó al fastidioso de Ian Garry que estuvo por ahí molestándolo y pues simplemente se concentró en el cinturón, que era lo que quería.
What can I say? Is a tough fighter, a guy who also, went quick in the rankings just like me. Took advantage of the opportunities. No one stopped him. Had a great fight and just crowned himself as a champion. As for Bilal, Bilal is a guy who, it's a guy who doesn't give up and continues to pound on. So he's going to be back in this race. And I mean, for all of them there, I mean, it's they gave us a great fight, and I mean, even though Ian Garry was there, annoying as hell, it was he took that in, and he still gave us a great fight. So, congrats to both of them.
Michael, congrats on the win. Obviously, guys like you are big inspirations to people in Latin America, for you, Ecuador, Mexico. So, what type of effect do you think a win like tonight against a big name like Gilbert Burns does to those future generation of MMA fighters watching back at home?
Personalidades, peleadores como tú, atletas como tú son una gran inspiración para muchos chicos en Latinoamérica, Ecuador, México y por toda Latinoamérica. ¿Qué crees que una victoria en un evento como este, de esta manera, lo que pasó esta noche, hace por esa inspiración y por todos que se están viendo desde lejos?
Pues creo yo que la única manera en la que los deportistas o los peleadores o lo que sea que hagamos en la vida, solo hay que simplemente hacerlo agradecido. Van a haber muchos malos comentarios, van a haber malos comentarios buenos, van y vienen, pero yo creo que mi madre me ha criado de una manera un poquito distinta. Ella simplemente escucha de ti, haz lo que te gusta, lo que te salga del corazón, haz todo lo posible para lograr tus sueños, pero siempre y cuando te guste hacer lo que te inspira, ¿no? Entonces, a mí me gustó mucho este deporte, me llamó mucho la atención. Mi mamá, ella quería que fuera marino, que estudiara, que esto y lo otro, pero ya vio que lo mío era la pelea, que era el deporte de contacto, el deporte de combate, y me apoyó, me le fue en contra y ella me apoyó, simplemente eso. A los padres, a los entrenadores, a todas las personas que están a cargo y ven el futuro en ese muchacho, en ese chico que quiere hacer muchas grandes cosas, apoyen sus locuras, apóyenlo, va a hacer las cosas muy bien. Si es algo que le gusta, lo va a hacer muy bien. Entrevistador, futbolista, peleador, lo que sea que haga en la vida, simplemente con tener un poquito de apoyo él va a lograr muchas cosas. Así que eso, a los chicos que vienen atrás de mí o atrás de todos los deportistas de Ecuador o atrás de cualquier inspiración que tengan, simplemente escuchen a sus padres, escuchen a esas personas que van a lograr muchas cosas y pues si no, les van a jalar la oreja como mi mamá me jala a mí las orejas.
I mean, as a fighter and actually an athlete, a sports personality, what we can do is, is continue to give an example and listen to it just kind of break out the noise a little bit. But there will be bad comments. There will be good comments. But at the end, listen, my mom raised me in a different way. She always said, listen to yourself. Do something, and whatever you do, you make sure you like what you're doing. Listen, I love the sport. I fell in love with the sport, and I continue to do it the way I love it. To me, when you do something that you love, it makes it so much easier on you. And don't listen to other people. Just listen to those who support you. Don't listen to the bad comments, and just listen to those who give you a word of inspiration. They're those that support you in your task. And you know what? Listen to yourselves, listen to your craziness, listen to your dreams, and of course, listen to your parents. And if not, they're gonna pull some ears out of you, and then you're gonna hear it like I hear from my mom.
And going into this fight, you partnered with Full Violence and did some merch collaborations with them, some Spider-Man stuff, and they even labeled you as a future champion. So how was that like, process working with them and just being labeled as a future champion?
Para esta pelea estabas haciendo un partnership con Full Violence y te están como te coronando como el futuro campeón de la división. ¿Cómo ha sido esto, estar con ellos y todo ese proceso?
Pues me ha ayudado mucho el apoyo que me han dado todas las personas que me acompañaron en este mundo, en esta carrera. Y más que nada, ahorita todavía no caigo en cuenta, todavía no despierto de esta realidad, porque ya está haciéndose realidad, que peleé con un rankeado, con una persona que iba a pelear por título, que estoy logrando muchas cosas grandes siendo tan joven. Y pues mi primer pelea estelar, mi mamá presente aquí, ella sabe todo lo que he sacrificado por este triunfo, por esta victoria, todo lo que estoy logrando, y pues es la persona primordial en todo lo que hago. Así que simplemente darle las gracias a todo ese apoyo que me han estado brindando, todo ese apoyo que me han compartido. Yo creo que si no hubiesen existido en mi vida no sería el peleador que soy el día de hoy. Así que simplemente eso, darle las gracias a todos, y pues me van a tener de aquí de largo molestando.
I'm very grateful to all those that support me, and it's been great to support for this fight. And I'm still kind of not over this. I'm just trying to wake up for this dream that is now a reality. This is a reality, that I'm here, that I just faced a great fighter that has fought trying to get into the title run, and I beat him, and I'm on this run as well. And, very grateful for all those who've been around me, to see my mother who's here, that exemplifies the sacrifice that we went through. I know how much she sacrificed for us to be here, for this dream to come true. It is amazing. I'm happy. I'm grateful to everyone that has been supporting me throughout this. And I'll tell you, you're going to hear a lot from me, because I'm going to be here annoying you guys.
Last one from me, uno en español rapidito. ¿Consideras poner Miles como tu apodo de pelea? Y ahorita mencionaste también limpio pero elegante, ¿tiene referencia al calle pero elegante de Segundo Castillo?
About your nickname, please. Dale, como quieras.
No, o sea, no pienso ponerme apodos. Yo creo que quiero que me conozcan por mi nombre, Michael Morales. Entonces, así va a ser toda la vida. Me va a quedar así porque así me llama mi mami, Michael. Y ya.
No, I'm not considering any nicknames. I'm going to be called Michael Morales because you know what? That's how Mama calls me, Michael.
Muchas gracias.